Hey, really quick, because I just got here and it's the previews are already showing. I made it to the drive-in for probably the last time of the season, but I didn't think I was even going to make this this far. So tonight's movies it's a triple feature. It's going to be, well, let me see if I can do this. All right, so the first one is Scary Stories We Tell in the Dark. The second movie is Ready or Not. And the third movie is 30 or 47 meters down. 3. Yeah, I don't know why they would make a sequel out of something that was like stuck in a shark cage. It doesn't promise to be good. In fact, none of these movies I've actually had any interest in. But at the same time, I wanted to go to the drive-in. I haven't been in front of the camera for I don't know, like months. It feels like months. It feels like a year, but I'm sure it was just a month. But at the same time, I haven't been to the drive-in, and this is obviously my favorite place to go. So I decided to try it tonight. Especially, this is a chance. I'm taking a chance, you guys. Wish me luck, because I've got about 4 hours of sleep. I opened the store this morning, so that meant that I didn't sleep well last night. So I'm going to go ahead and watch these movies, and I'll be right back after this, the first movie, which is Scary Stories That We Tell in the Dark. And I'll let you know what I think about that in just a few seconds. All right, I'll talk to you guys in just a few seconds. Bye. I just got done watching Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. There's two ways I want to discuss this movie. First off, I want to discuss it as a horror story, and secondly, I want to discuss the horror imagery they use in it. First off, the horror story itself, I know this is based on a book, and I heard rumor that it was based on the writings of a 13-year-old. So as far as that goes, yeah, that's impressive. But at the same time, if it was based on the book, it felt a little rushed. I don't think we really got a feeling, an idea of the characters that we have. It had story, the typical story elements of any horror story. We had the collected 5 young people that the story centers around. And they were all kind of like misfits of their society. But at the same time, they seemed to, they were taking out a story too quickly, and we didn't get a sense of a lot of the characters. There were actually only 2 really main characters in the movie that we actually got a really good sense of. The typical, I know that what they were after, but it didn't feel like they succeeded in building that kind of suspenseful, kind of scary movie that they were looking to create there. As far as the imagery goes, the second part of this movie that I want to discuss, I didn't feel it. It didn't look right to me. It looked to me like all the horror imagery they were using, like there was a part in the movie where one of the main characters gets lost in the back rooms of a hospital, and he is being chased by this, like, I don't know, like it looked like she was a reject in the psych ward. And it just looked like it was based on a drawing, like a stylized drawing that could have been incorporated in the books that it was based after. I don't know this for a fact, I'm just guessing, but it looks like it was based on very stylized art, and because of that, it looked silly on the screen. And then later on, we had this like decapitated, this dismembered body that put itself back together, and it looked just over exaggerated, and it didn't instill fear in me. It again just looked silly to me. For the most part, this movie didn't work for me. There were elements that did work. I thought the girl that played the main character was very well acted. It was her part was very well acted. I really liked her in that role. I liked her supposed quote-unquote boyfriend that she meets throughout the movie. He was less compelling as a character, but I still liked his acting in the movie. Again, most of the characters, we really didn't get a feeling. We really didn't get that much of an investment in them. So I'm going to have to walk away from this and say I didn't enjoy it all that much, guys. I was kind of I wasn't invested in the story. So I'm going to give it a 55%. I think it's scoring a lot higher on the Metacritic's score on like IMDb and also Rotten Tomatoes. But it wasn't my type of movie. It didn't do well for me. So a 55 for me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. And we're going to go ahead and watch... What's my next movie? The next movie is going to be... Ready, Set, Go? Or I don't know. It's the hide-and-seek movie where they're in like kind of a Victorian Gothic a mansion. And she's just married into a family. I'm giving away the plot that I don't even know about. Like I said, I didn't have that much investment in these movies going into them, so I know very little about them. But this one, the next one, the Ready Go or Ready Set Go or whatever, it's gotten, as far as I know, the best scores out of any of the movies I'm seeing tonight. So if anything's gonna be worth my while to put a trip for the drive-in, it's going to be this one. So I'll let you know in just a few seconds what I think about that unnamed movie, and I'll be back. All right, see you later. Bye. So guys, I just got done watching a film, and I'll be honest with you, that was the way to make a film. As opposed to the last movie that we watched, Scary Stories, it seemed like it spent too much time setting up and telling these scary stories as opposed to letting us get to know the characters. This, it was a simple premise. It's basically a kind of like a weird, eccentric, rich family who has a tradition, a very devout tradition in their family. When one of the members gets married, they play a game to initiate that new member into the family. And we are set up with rules in the very beginning, and we follow those rules throughout. And not only do we get to see the contest being played out, but we get to meet these characters, individual characters with individual character traits. And, we got a real sense of who these people were. And I think that led to me liking this movie more than the first movie. Not only that, but it had a really good sense of humor about itself. It kind of, by the end of the movie, it started losing me. It started delving into more of the abstract side of the story. But for the grade card, for all of it together, I would definitely recommend watching this movie. Not on the screen. It wasn't good enough to watch on the screen, but I would totally recommend like a day at home with somebody that you care about on the couch and having a good time with this scary movie. It was fun for a video rental. So I would go ahead and give that a good 70. Yeah. I'm very conflicted. 75? How about... We'll split the difference. I'm going to give it a 73. A 73%. That's what I liked about this movie. I liked the individual characters. I liked the sense of humor about this movie. I didn't particularly like the end of it. So, there you go. In the next few minutes, I'm going to be watching 47 Meters Down or whatever. It's not really... I don't have that much, that many great expectations for this movie. So, in just a few seconds, I'll be back to, I don't know, hopefully be pleasantly surprised. All right, in just a few minutes, or seconds, I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye. All right, all right, well, that was a thing. I just got done watching, what was it, 47 Meters Down, Uncaged. Ooh. I want to compare this to another movie that worked better than this movie. We basically have kind of like a closed room scenario. They're in a cave and they can't get out. And then they have the wildlife around them trying to keep them, well, to feed their bellies, but to keep them in and keep the suspense there and keep the story going. That is a really vague plot that you can fit into another movie I had just seen called Crawl. Crawl was a much better film than this film. You basically had about the same premise, or at least the same formula. In Crawl, she goes down to Florida because there's a hurricane, and while she's in Florida, you see the sign that says, alligator farm. All right, and so that's a foreboding message to the viewers that there's going to be shit going down later on. And there was. But all the way throughout that plot, we got interesting premise and clever conclusion. In this, there wasn't anything clever about it. There wasn't anything funny about it. There wasn't anything entertaining about it. It was just boring and really unfortunate. Yeah, I felt sorry for the girls. I'm sorry, did I explain the plot of this one? We have like 4 high school aged girls who her dad is like an archaeologist that's doing aquatic dives to go into these, I think, Mayan temples. I wasn't really clear on that, but they basically go down there by themselves, and there's this like cave shark that's evolved to be a blind shark. So that kind of gave like leverage to the plot and gave them opportunities to make it a clever opportunities to escape, to get out, to resolve their situation. But it never paid off. And they never gave us any clever situation or any engaging situation and clever exit from that situation. Crawl wasn't a perfect movie. There was a lot that was going on, and there was some plot holes, or at least suspension of disbelief, where the girl got injured many, many, many times and still got up and still was able to function. It was a little more realistic. When they got eaten by the shark, they were eaten by the shark until the very end. Who cares if it follows the same tone as the rest of the movie, or who cares if it's plausible or not? Because it was just the ending ruined whatever potential this movie had was very, very little. Yeah, it failed. This movie failed. I would not recommend it. I would not recommend watching it streaming. It was just not a good movie, guys. I'm going to go ahead. There were some shots in the movie that were actually very kind of visually appealing. Like underwater shots with like a green glow around different objects. And with the kind of silhouetting the girls. And there was some pretty good shots in that. Otherwise, it was really uninspired writing. There wasn't really any great interpretation of character in this movie. It's like a 10%, maybe even a 5. Okay, we're going to split the difference. 7. It was a 7%. It's not good. It's not worth a watch. So, for the great card for tonight, we have Scary Stories. I'm just going to shorten it. And that was, I think I gave it like a 55%. It had potential to it. It had some good, decent shots. It just, some of the imagery was very bizarre and awkward, and it didn't make sense to me. Then we had Ready or Not, which had, it was a lot of fun. and it had a lot of humor in it. It had characters that we could get involved in. The plot just kind of weakened at the end, so I gave it a 73%. And then we have 47 Meters, Uncaged, that goes down in the books as a 7% for me. There was only a minuscule amount of that movie that I found redeemable, and the rest of it was just utter garbage, guys. All right, well, that's it. I'm so glad that I got to spend the time at the drive-in. Maybe I'll be able to get another opportunity to do this for the summer, but more than likely, this is it. This is my last go at the drive-in this year. I'll see you guys throughout the winter at my normal Cinemark. But other than that, I'm going to end this video. Again, as always, I wish everybody peace. Montane, I'll see you guys later, and goodbye.